say I'm a relative newcomer. I was a normal person for 55 years before going into politics, still less than 3 years ago when I decided to stand for Parliament. Um, Between the management consulting and standing for Parliament, you mentioned earlier the ocean rowing, and that was very much as an environmental campaigner. I used those ocean rowing voyages to raise awareness of the environmental crisis. So that's what brought me into politics. And I would say, in my experience, and I do mostly mix with Lib Dem MPs, um, they're there to do their best. I see a genuine desire to serve their communities. I see some very capable people who could probably be earning a lot more money and getting an awful lot less stick for it in the private sector, but they've chosen to go into politics out of a desire to serve. Um, are lies told? Sometimes unintentionally, as Adam mentioned. It was refreshing this morning to hear Mark Carney's victory speech in Canada, where one of the three values that he pledged to espouse was humility, saying that he's sure that he will make mistakes. And he will admit those. And I think that the media have a role to play there in not describing it as a screeching U-turn if an MP says, you know what, more information has emerged. Previously, my stance was based on this information. Now I have more facts at my disposal, and it makes sense to me to change my mind. So it's sort of a systemic approach. Um, I want to also zoom out for a moment. I'm knocking on a lot of doors at the moment in the run up to the county council elections. And I would say that our British democracy is in crisis. I don't think that I'm exaggerating there. Last year's turnout for the general election was the second lowest in nearly 100 years since universal suffrage, at below 60%. I am hearing from a lot of people, I've always voted, but you're all the same. You're all in it for yourselves. I'm sure that anyone else on this call, either in the audience or on the panel, who's knocked on doors, has heard some of these accusations levelled at politicians. How are we going to restore that faith? It was interesting to see in the chat, Laurie in particular has mentioned Taiwan and what the marvellous Audrey Tang has been doing there to make politics, democracy much more inclusive. Audrey Tang says it's not about whether people trust the government, it's about whether government trusts the people to have a say in the decisions that are going to affect their lives. So I think that is a way to come back to your question, Jennifer, to both restore faith in politics and to move it up the political agenda. To be honest, politics, like big corporations or many other kind of domains, it is a system. It is a very ancient, well, our UK democracy is a very old system that will protect itself. As a Lib Dem, we want to have proportional representation. We've already seen the difficulty of what is a relatively minor change to our constitutional way of doing things. So we face this ongoing problem that the party in power is not going to change the system that's put it in power. So I think what we're going to see going forwards is, in a way, we're going to be creating a new model that renders the existing one obsolete, that a lot more power is going to be devolved and claimed by communities. And this will force the government of the day to reevaluate how they continue to stay relevant as an authority. So I think that sort of pressure coming from the grassroots is going to be what really pushes this to front of mind for government. And to me, this feels existential, because if we don't have a system of governance that people trust, then we're in a right mess. So I think over the next few years, we're going to see a return, in a way, to more grassroots politics, where you actually get to look in the eyes of the person who is representing you and gauge for yourself whether or not they are trustworthy.